at them, they're going to come at you and they're going to take you away. That's just Alabama. That's how Nick Saban coached. He recruit 5-star dudes. That's who he is. But at the same time, just remember, at one point in time, it was 10-6. And the game just got out of hand from there. Alabama went on ahead and scored 14 points in the third, and they never looked back from there. And it just looked too easy to them. It really and truly just looked too easy in that game. It was too easy for them cats. It was really, really too easy for them. And now we got a game on Monday where my prediction, I sad to say it, and I'm just going to go ahead and play the soundbite. I got Alabama winning this ball game, unfortunately, because I don't think Georgia, don't get me wrong, I think Georgia going to put up a heck of a game. I think Georgia's going to score their points. I think Georgia's going to take more of their shots. But at the same time, I don't think Georgia going to be able to do what they did to Oklahoma, to Alabama. You know, physically out-dominate these cats. Now, let me tell you something. It's just like in a boxing match. You can, two heavyweights who's at the prime of their careers, they going to get theirs. One going to get theirs, but one going to have to be the winner. I think Georgia going to get theirs up front as well. But I think Alabama's is going to get theirs as well. It's going to be a 50-50 battle between the front and both lines and working to get to the second level as well. It's going to be a 50-50 battle. I want to see how Georgia going to attack them in the passing game and see if Alabama going to play some more manned fronts. Or they going to respect. They're going to respect Foreman a little bit with how, because he really is a smart guy and he's young. He's really got the potential to be a great quarterback in this league, and potentially because he really studies. He looks like he knows the game. He got a high football IQ and he studies the game real well. I want to see how good this kid is against this NFL style type defense. Now, granted, he was on the granddaddy of them all at the Rose Bowl making plays. Now he got two great running backs. Nick Chubb, he's a potential NFL star. You know, he's going to help somebody when he gets to the NFL. Also, then you got Sony Mitchell, who's going to be with you for a little while. It's going to be a great game, but I really don't know if Georgia have enough to get over them. And I'm going to go ahead and give him my score for it now. Give me Alabama 24 and give me Georgia 17. It's going to be a real tight game. And I think Alabama going to score they're going to score a game-winning touchdown probably with about 5 minutes left in the ball game. It's going to be 17-17 for a very long time. And I think Alabama going to score the last touchdown, 24. And they're gonna put the game where they want to put it in the defense hands to close it out and have a chance at redemption. Remember last year, Deshaun Watson went down the field and defeated the Tide with about 9 seconds left. I want to see if that defense can respond and show that we no slaps, we ain't no pushovers. We gonna win this game for our school. So we gonna see what's gonna happen going forward for the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, a subject I want to talk about before I wrap it up. There has been a lot of fired coaches in the last 24 to 72 hours in football. Some has retired and some has been fired. Let's talk about the ones that have been fired. John Fox from the Chicago Bears. Brendan Keller, my boy Brendan Keller, I always like to talk about BK. BK, I'm sorry, this should have been done a long time ago. Hell, in my opinion, this should never been a hire from the get-go. Fox, who was leaving Chicago with a 14-34 record over the 3 seasons he has been coaching with them. John Fox has an overall record of 133 to 123 in his career. Now remember, Fox has won the NFC and the AFC championship games. He never won the big one. He never won the Super Bowl. And now John Fox do not have a job at this moment in time. The next one that was fired was Jim Caldwell. Caldwell, who's been having ownership problems for the longest. They didn't know if they wanted to keep him or not. But Jim Caldwell has officially been fired. Yeah, just poor Jim Caldwell. Sorry for Jim. He's really a great coach. He's just probably with another bad organization. Chuck Pagano for the Indianapolis Colts has been fired. Even before Andrew Luck got hurt, he started to fall off a little bit. I think he started to play a little mediocre. Now, when he first got there, they was making a lot of progression and almost to the point being Super Bowl contenders. But Luck injuries started to happen, and his health started. It was just a lot going on with Chuck Pagano, and it is time for a fresh start with the Andrew Luck era and try to get this ball moving a little bit more for the Indianapolis Colts. We all know my favorite person, Ben McAdoo. McAdoo was fired like the end of mid-season of football this year. McAdoo is no longer the head coach of the New York Giants. He finished with a 13-15 record as the Giants coach. And more the shocking who was fired would be Jack Del Rio. Del Rio was fired over the weekend after Sunday's loss, 30-10 loss to the 30-10 loss to the Chargers. He was fired with a 25-23 record. Now, I'm have to say I'm very, very disappointed in the Raiders for firing Del Rio when Del Rio really turned the tables around for the Raiders. And also, Del Rio kind of gave the Raiders some hope going in the future forward. Now, here's my only problem with this, and agree with me or disagree with me when I say this. The Raiders have too high of expectations right now. Just because you got in the playoffs last year, yeah, I think Mac McGloin was the quarterback when Derek Carr got hurt with the hamstring injury, the ACL injury last year, and he couldn't play in the playoffs against the Texans. And but guess what? Y'all extended y'all season last season in the playoffs. Y'all didn't win it, but y'all did extend y'all season in the playoffs. Y'all had some pieces to work back with. And a lot of people, I guess Oakland fans thought, well, we have enough to go to the Super Bowl now. No, y'all not there yet. Y'all still have y'all still have secondary problems. Y'all got a great defensive front with Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvins and some of the rest of them guys, but y'all still have secondary problems. So this team is a very, very, very long way from home from really, really getting to that Super Bowl level. They really got exposed to me this year. I think the big matchup I was looking for this year was when they took on the Patriots. And by this time, they was already kind of playing to mediocrity. And when they went to Mexico and the Patriots just pretty much just beat the snot out these cats, it was like, okay, yeah, their expectation level was a little too high this season. And they got to go back to the drawing board and fix this. But I think Oakland can fix it. I really thought they could have fixed it with Del Rio, but they didn't. So, unfortunately, that really, really, really sucks. Our coach retired this year would be Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians finished this year with 49-30-1 record as a coach. He finished the season 8-8 as they defeated the Seattle Seahawks on this past Sunday. I really think Bruce Arians is really one of the better coaches and the better stories in the NFL. He's a 2-time coach of the year as the interim and as a head. He has worked with some of the best in the game, Ben Roethlisberger. He worked with Peyton Manning. He has worked with Carson Palmer. He has worked with Andrew Luck. He has worked with some of the best in the game. And Bruce Arians, who to me is kind of unfair that he had to leave, but he is working with an old folks home out there in Arizona. Now, at the same time, Carson Palmer is officially retired as well, as Palmer is at the 15th season. He is calling quits. So what that means, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. What that means for the Arizona Cardinals, I think the Arizona Cardinals are now on edge to be with one team I'm about to talk about next in a couple of seconds. And I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about them. Before I talk about them, how the hell Marvin Lewis get re-signed again? Marvin Lewis get a 2-year extension. And if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, at this point, no, you are better than the Cleveland Browns. Don't get me wrong. You have had playoff appearances, but almost like y'all are just as bad as cursed as the Cleveland Browns because y'all don't want to get rid of y'all head coach. But we're going to leave that alone. Now, this is the man I was kind of disappointed with. John Elway came out after Sunday's game and said he has to sleep on Vance Joseph. Now, remember, I want to say Denver started off 3-0 this year. They took that, they want to say 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, something like. No, they started off 4-0, I believe. And they went on by, and they came back, and they lost to the winless Giants off the bye. At home, at that. The Giants got their first victory of the year. Elway came out and said that he had to go on and sleep on where he bring Vance Joseph back to Denver. Now, I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair for Elway to be like that, because under Elway's era, let's talk about John Elway right quick. John Elway really got involved with this team back in 2011. He was the director of player personnel, right? Under his first year, he was 8-8. When he took over to be executive football operation and general manager, he was 13-3. That's when Peyton Manning first got there. They lost in the divisional round to the Baltimore Ravens. Remember that? He was the second year. He was 13-3. Guess what they lost to? They lost to the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. They got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Then the following year they went 12-4. Guess what? They lost in the divisional again. And then Peyton Manning's last year they went 12-4, and they defeated the Carolina Panthers to win the Super Bowl. The last two seasons, it was 9-7, and this past season, it was 5-11, missing the playoffs on both years. Now, let me tell you something. The Denver Broncos are possibly one of the best teams who didn't make the playoffs the last couple of years because of their defense. They really have a stingy defense. So this one I'm looking at, Elway. Let's take about the grades that you would have. If I had to grade Elway's performance when it comes down to get to the quarterback position, here's why I grade him. First thing first, you had, let's remember, Kyle Orton was there, Tim Tebow, Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler. I'm not going to even throw Peyton Manning in there. You know what I'm saying? Without Peyton Manning in there, they are D-. With Peyton Manning being there, they are C-, in my opinion. Because I can't even give him a solid C, because Peyton Manning was at the end of his career. You feel what I'm saying? So yes, they're solid. They're C-. But Osweiler, Siemian, Lynch, who can't get it together, Tebow, and Orton, they give you a D- on his behalf. And I'm just looking back at it now and saying, well, how can you now? Gary Kubiak had some health problems. Remember that? And Kubiak left the team this past year, and they went and got Vance Joseph, and Kubiak, who had a great offense. And I think if he was still here, I think probably would still kind of help, Trevor Siemian to continue to grow. But Vance Joseph, who had a meltdown, and yes, it was a little unfortunate, but I don't know what Elway want out these guys when he not doing his job in front office. It seemed like Elway, when it just seems something about John, he just don't get the job done trying to get the right quarterbacks. And so this is what I got to say about this. I hope to God that I would love to see three things happen this offseason for the Denver Broncos at that position. Either A, they draft well, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a couple of seconds. They draft well. B, they go after A.J. McCarron. Or C, you find a way to get Kirk Cousins. Now, B and C kind of look good to me. A.J. McCarron, who got a lot of football knowledge. He's a winner. He's a champion from Alabama. He has sat behind Andy Dalton. He's probably one of the top 3, top 5 backups that's sitting on the bench right now, who could potentially still start for an NFL team. Kirk Cousins could be your automatic solution, your automatically fill in probably for the next at least 6 to 7 years. That can put you in the playoff hunt with a great defense, and you never know what can happen if he can at least dominate the AFC West and have a chance to at least be in the 1 or 2 spot in the AFC. don't really know what can happen. Now, this one thing I don't want to see. I